the spiritual laws of life. It's like a guidebook for life. Like every baby should have one, right? By Sri Harold Klemp. So destiny, the law of destiny. Soul comes into the world to accomplish an assortment of tasks. These assignments taken as a whole make up its destiny. Oh, whoa. Okay. So like if that means that we actually have a mission, that we're here for something, okay, other than just, cleaning our own karma or, trying to like gain something for ourselves, right? Okay, because that's still on some level selfish if you're just coming here and you're like, well, I'm just here to clean my karma. Okay, great, so am I, absolutely. But there must be something more, right? So let's read. Soul enters this world to accomplish a collection of tasks. Taken as a whole, these assignments make up its destiny. To set the tone for its mission, soul may come into either a healthy body or a sickly one, into a comfortable means or poverty, with great intellect or a simple mind, with the favored color of skin for that era or not, once a male, again a female. And I like that they say that favored color of skin for that era or not, because it's not always been one way. It changes through the thousands of years. Yeah, it's interesting. So, okay, so basically this is saying that you are choosing certain, like it's almost like you have an avatar that you're composing before you choose to come back in a body, and you're kind of setting the stage, like what's going to be better for my unfoldment to learn the lessons and do the mission that I have. Will it be better if I have a wealthy family or a family that doesn't have much money, so then I can learn how to manage money, to make money, etc., and to get out of a poverty type mindset, right? Because of what you've known. So then you're accomplishing, right? And then you're a way shower for people who also grew up with you, let's say, and they hadn't much money. You can show them, look, this is how you change it. Like I had a friend a long time ago who's a wonderful person, but truly every single time I would speak with this person, the topic of money would come up, and it would be always something like, oh, this economy, or oh, don't have enough, or oh, I mean, well, if you're constantly focusing on the negative, what do you think you're going to have? So obviously, if you are in a situation where there's not much and you are growing up with lack, then that's very easy to do, right? But there's a lot of resources on this planet, and there's lots of ways to conquer that too. Destiny as a concept is waning in popularity in Western society today. People want to run their own lives. They want to shape their own tomorrows. Yeah, I get that. I definitely want to feel that I have some control over where I'm going. And yet, I do personally know and believe wholeheartedly that sometimes the universe has a different set of circumstances and a different path for you, okay? So you might expect that one thing's going to happen. Like, personally, I've been singing since I was 3 years old. I used to do lots of big shows here and there. The point is that I always pictured myself, a singer, just singing. But the truth is I love to sing, and sometimes I do if I'm asked to do that, but I don't think it's my calling. Even though I have a gift, it's not my actual calling, you see? So as much as I was convinced that that would be my calling, and I still do it, it's not my calling. So what is it that you are thinking that you should do, but then you see the universe it keeps pushing you in a different direction? Like, what is it, right? Because I do think that exists, and I do think that we come in with certain things that we know we need to accomplish, missions of sorts. The primal seed for each incarnation is under the umbrella of destiny, known to us also as past life karma. Okay. So in some circumstances, let's say you made your wife or lover, okay, in a different time, just give her children to a foundling home, okay, like you took them out of her when she gave birth, then maybe in this lifetime you're going to be born and adopted out instantly. That's at least something I'm very aware about. So what is it? And it doesn't always have to be like negative. It can also be maybe you were like, Mother Teresa in a past life. So in this lifetime, maybe it'll be a little easier for you and you can teach in an easier way, right? Okay, on a practical level, genetic, cultural, and social elements combine to determine soul's position in this world. For people on the lower end of the survival scale, the Lord of Karma alone chooses the time and place of rebirth. By definition, the survival scale is a yardstick of one's can-do instincts, but karmic placement does allow some people a voice in their place of birth. Okay, so there's a wonderful book. It's called Journey of Souls by Michael Newton, PhD. He was a therapist for 40 some plus years, and he was helping people with pain and under deep hypnosis. And he was very scientific minded, not at all like a spiritual, experiencer. I mean, we're all experiencing spirit because we are that, but he was like more science based. And yet he couldn't help but know that his clients were under deep hypnosis and started talking about things as if they were experiencing them, and some of them were from like ages far past. Okay, others were the in-between lifetimes and dealing with the reviews of your life. It's fascinating. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times because I really do resonate and have certain remembrances, and then the choosing of your next life and the people and players that you're going to do these things with and the lessons you're going to learn. It's fascinating. I highly recommend it. By definition, the survival scale is a yardstick of one's can-do instincts, but karmic placement does allow some people a voice in their place of birth. These are the individuals near the top of the scale who are always creative in some way, usually cheerful, upbeat people. Okay, so if you are more positive in your incarnation, what it's saying here is that if you're living in more of the positive and you are more kind of a soul, kind and generous and cheerful, grateful is really what I'm hearing or feeling. You behave in better ways, then you actually get to be involved in the process. You don't just get thrown back down because the lords of karma are like, yeah, no, you need this hard lesson because you were complete in the past one. Consider my words. Because of gains made in past life unfoldment, they have won a say in choosing their present incarnation. Destiny can be thought of as the equipment, talents, or gifts which a person brings to this life. It remains for each to use them wisely. That hits me. Like, yeah, like, how are you using your gifts? Like, what are your gifts? And what do you feel like is not just fun and frivolous and ego-based? Because that was why I stopped doing a lot of the singing stuff, because it felt like kind of ego-based to me. Like, that's 60,000 people in a stadium staring at you and signing autographs. It felt yucky to me. I didn't like that. I just love to sing, but I don't like the attention. So for me, it felt like it was not a soul-based purpose, even though it's a gift. So so I feel like reading these things to you is more helpful to the overall collective consciousness. So what is it that you think that you could give to the collective consciousness of this planet that would be helpful, right? There's so many ways, and it doesn't have to be on a large scale either. Once an individual makes a commitment to hold true to the teachings of Ek and follow the words of the living Ek Master, it is a sure thing that he will see his outer life run in new directions. So again, you can be any religion, you can be from any background, But I will say this, if you start chanting the hue and you ask for the help of the living Eckmaster in the inner planes, then he can guide you through the mazes. I have gotten lost in the inner planes. So the inner planes are like this. You go to sleep in the physical, your soul is focused, looking through this avatar you've created, and it goes to sleep. It leaves through, I believe, your crown chakra. It could be the third eye, but I'm pretty sure it's the crown. And it goes to different planes of existence that are just as real as it is here. Like I said, I still see and talk to in deep conversations the people who've left their bodies, who've passed, that I love. So love is the key to the higher worlds. Love is the key, the entrance door. You have to have love and not fear to get there. And then you can visit with them. And you can also see the most beautiful places, these gardens and just beauty beyond word. There's also lower astral realms where there's not as much light, and there are people, beings that, are living in more darkness. So that's why I like to ask the living Eckmaster to help guide me. I don't worship him. He is a guide, just like you would go to a tennis instructor. So if you get lost in the inner, which I have, consciously awoken in the dream state, and like, oh my gosh, like you have different houses, by the way, in every level of reality. And you can clean them too, which is really good. But I have gotten lost and gotten taken back and found in the most profound, incredible experiential ways. So yeah, I don't read this without the knowledge that some of you might think this is strange to have to say, to follow anything, but you don't. But it really helps. Like, I used to still have the lucid dream travel before I became an Eckist, but now with the help of the living Eckmaster, the current living Eckmaster, the Mahanta, Sri Klemp, who wrote this book, I am able to navigate and avoid the pitfalls and mazes and clean house, and so within, so without. So if you're in the inner planes awake and you have your homes there and you're visiting them, and I mean, in the beginning of me becoming an Eckist, my houses were very like, there were so many ancient things in there, like ancient artifacts and darkness and dirtiness and things I needed to clean, and I'm still cleaning, and now I'm actually helping others clean. And that is part of this journey. So that's why it's helpful to have a guide. Okay, the law of destiny, which has dictated the direction of his life to this point, is dismantled. The power is taken from that mechanism. A whole new chapter is begun when the master, the current living Eckmaster, turns the page in the book of life. Whatever is expected when one begins an earnest study in Eck, also known as Eckankar, it is certain that the love of the sound current is smoldering in the center of the spirit. So what is, the sound current? So sound and light are the expressions of all that is, right? Sound and light are, it's like God's voice, okay? And it's really incredible, because when you do start to travel, and if you consciously leave your body vessel, like while awake, like I'm not even kidding, there's always a sound or a vibration in your body. You'll kind of like feel a vibration, and then you'll have a sound, like a whoosh, a pulsing sound. You might hear birds chirping, you might hear a symphony. I mean, there's so many different beautiful sounds of God's voice. And that's really what it is. And it is just love. And that's what you are. And the more that you remember that, the more you'll act in accordance with the laws of the spiritual laws. And then the easier it will be to leave the darkness and density of your past lives. And if you don't believe in past lives, okay, past life, this life, anything that is dark in you, that hurts, that you're avoiding. And that might also be triggering too when I say this. But if you're avoiding anything, that's like a gift. If you feel like triggered, that's a gift, because that means that you have something unhealed within that needs to be looked at and dealt with. And once you do, you become lighter. Okay, I'm going to talk about the Shaolin King. Shaolin King? That's hilarious. Okay, you were Master Shifu. So I also am studying, I'm also studying with Master Shifu. I told you guys this. And he is kind of a king. He's amazing, but he talks when I do his class online. He'll talk about lightness in your body. And I find that fascinating because on a spiritual level, it's quite interconnected. So the lighter you are, the more easily you can. People will call it astral travel, but it's not. It is called soul travel. The more easy you can soul travel. Now, he's achieving that lightness and levity in his body via, obviously he meditates. He's a Buddhist monk, as I assume. I can't speak for him. I don't know him. But via these exercises too. So when he talks about like creating lightness, because we'll do all these moves or stretches, and then he'll say, okay, everyone jog in place and shake it out or something, and he talks about a lightness going through your body. I'm like, you know what? I completely find that fascinating because I feel like there's something connected to that. Like it's light and sound, and it's lightness. The heaviness, the darkness is what weighs the spirit down and keeps it attached to this perpetual wheel of reincarnation. This is like time to mitigate your karma, because the lighter you are, then you won't need to come back to earth unless you come to teach as someone who's going to have a lot of hard lessons. It's not fun. You might as well just learn it now. But everyone goes at their own pace, and that's awesome, right?